Richard, I know that we've discussed before when Arkansas basketball was rolling in the NCAA tournament, you've had some football players that have just been intrigued by that. We had Sam Pittman and Eric Musselman here earlier this week, and they were shown on the Jumbotron cheering on Dave Van Horn. I think about the picture that's pretty iconic with DVH and Eric Musselman attending the Texas A&M game in Jerry World last year and congratulating Coach Pittman after that win. How much do you think those guys between the three share recruiting tidbits, knowledge, and ideas just when it comes to recruiting the highest caliber athletes to Arkansas?
Oh, I have no doubt that they interact and pass along ideas and check with each other and for opinions about different situations and different ideas that maybe they've heard about from other coaching staffs or contacts in college football. And you definitely a lot of times in sports period and in life in period, a lot of times you're borrowing other ideas from other people. And of course you come up with your own ideas, but at the same time it's always good, especially with somebody that's having a lot of success in recruiting. It's always good to reach out to them and say, "Hey, what are you doing? What do you? Here's what we do. What do you think?" So, I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, you'd be crazy not to interact and try to bounce ideas off of each other.
Richard, when you think about postseason and how much easier it is to get your brand, get your program wild, Arkansas baseball has been that way for quite some time. The Final Three team of college baseball. Arkansas basketball has been that for next year. What does that next step in postseason look like for Arkansas football to continue to build that brand back with high school recruits across this country?
I think you need to have some 10-win seasons, on a fairly regular basis. Maybe not every year, and then you also have to have guys that have success on the field. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've talked to kids, even today, about Darren McFadden. But I mean, especially after Darren McFadden had finished playing at Arkansas. I mean, he was still fresh on kids' minds. They talked about Darren McFadden, and especially running backs. Now Davis is one of the main reasons he came to Arkansas was the success of Darren McFadden. That was huge to him, even though he was playing for a different head coach. So if you have some guys that have a lot of success, win some national awards, you can sell that big time. And then obviously if they go to the NFL, first-round draft pick or second-round draft pick or whatever, all those things play into being able to sell your program. So basically the answer is to try to get some 10-win seasons. Maybe if you can somehow get an SEC title, obviously you'd be in the national championship hunt. I mean, that's obviously a plus, but 10-win seasons and postseason honors for your kids, I think those are the two things that really catch the attention of recruits.
Richard Davenport with us here, recruiting Thursday on the Morning Rush. It's camp season. I saw a picture of Coach Pittman addressing what looked to be like 500 players, but it wasn't quite that many that were on the indoor on the turf there. And I know this is a time where some players who are trying to get on Coach Pittman and his staff's radar can do that. You wrote about a 3-star offensive lineman out of Illinois, Paris Patterson. You can tell us more about him, but maybe some other players that have attended the camps these last couple of weeks that maybe are now on the radar for this staff.
Yeah, well, you said Paris Patterson. He got an offer from Arkansas yesterday because he attended the lineman camp. And the kid, I mean, I knew he was coming to camp, and I knew he was a big guy. I knew he was around 6'4", 6'5", in the 350 range. So it's easy to locate those guys when they're at camp. And when I saw him, I was like, okay, I know who this guy is, because he was massive lower body, massive upper body. Anyway, he just showed out. He got the offer from Coach Kennedy, and he'll be back in a few days for an official visit. So he's 6'4", he measured 6'5", 341, and very athletic, a good-looking kid, and very personable type kid too. and one of those type kids you enjoy talking to. But yeah, they've done a great job of getting kids on campus. Damon Williams, a 4-star quarterback from Arizona, Chandler, Arizona, will be on campus today and participate in tomorrow's prospect camp. He's one service has him the number 3 quarterback in the country. Because you got to give Coach Browse a lot of credit. I've seen a lot of 4-stars visit Arkansas recently, and he's had a good track record of getting them on campus, and obviously was able to close with Malachi Singleton. But the camps, they're doing an excellent job of getting guys on campus. I got a whole list, but I don't have it in front of me about kids that have been here and who's going to be here tomorrow.
Richard, they do a lineman's camp. They do 3 different camps. One of those camps is a specialist camp where they, for special teams. Anything come out of that yet? And Scott Fountain, and I may be off on the schedule here, but I know the specialist camp's another place for kids to kind of get on that radar, but also for Arkansas to find some snappers, some holders, some punters, some kickers, all of that to kind of keep that pipeline full.
Yeah, that was one of the early camps this month, and the kid didn't participate in the camp, and I forget the kid's name. Forgive me, but he earned a scholarship. I think he's one of the top kickers in the country. And you're right, as far as just being able to get those guys on campus, be able to see them eye to eye, and see how they perform, and then especially like snappers, you hear the times that they have, as far as being able to snap from a punting situation, but for you to be able to time them too, that's even better. So, Coach, I tell you what, I think one thing about Coach Fountain, I don't think you're going to have a problem with talented kickers or punters as long as he's here, because I think you're starting to see that to kick in, especially with the season that Cameron Little had last year.
Yeah. Let's shift gears a little bit to basketball. Tonight is the NBA draft. How big a night is this for recruiting down the road for Eric Musselman to have another chance to put a first rounder in the draft? What are the dividends tonight for Eric Musselman and this program, particularly with Jalen Williams?
Football kids always talking about guys at the schools have had talk about schools that have had a good number of guys drafted in the NFL. Basketball guys are probably even more in tune about guys that have been drafted at a particular school, and if Jalen does go in the draft like we anticipate, that's only going to enhance Coach Musselman's resume even more, and his NBA background, along with being able to develop guys and put them in the NBA. And it's not just putting them in the NBA after their senior year. He's putting them in the NBA after their freshman and sophomore year. And he's also developing guys in their third or fourth year, but still yet you're seeing guys that are able to leave early, and that is a key, especially with the high profile guys, because a lot of them thinking they're going to be a one and done, or at least two years maximum before they leave college.
Richard Davenport with us here on the Morning Rush, Whole Hog Sports, Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. Richard, let's go back to Jalen's high school and AAU days, a teammate of Devontae Davis and some other guys that have played at colleges within this state. And I remember watching him, and he had high-level basketball IQ, then played both ways as we saw in college. And that's what seemingly has helped him in the NBA Combine and the scrimmages, just his basketball IQ. What are the odds that you think a team takes a chance on him tonight in the first round? I know I've seen a mock or two that have had him moved up to this point. Is there any reason that you have to believe that he could be potentially another first-round pick for this Arkansas basketball program?
Boy, I don't have the answer on that. I think it's a possibility just because, excuse me, like you said, of his basketball IQ, plus he's a good kid. And you don't have to worry about him being one of those type of guys. He gets the money, gets the fat head, and gets a little lazy. He's going to continue to work, and I think it's very important for the NBA, NBA front offices to know that if you invest your time and money in a kid in the draft, that you're probably the odds of you getting that back are pretty good, especially if a high character guy. So as far as him going in the first round, I haven't been paying that much attention to it. I think it's a possibility just because of the type of guy he is, and like you said, he may not be the most athletic guy in the world, but man, he knows the game, and he can definitely make other guys better just because of the way he can pass, and obviously he'll give up his body too.
We'll leave it there, Richard. Appreciate your time this morning, man. We're going to talk some more baseball, and hopefully we'll be able to talk about the recruiting advantages of winning the national championship with you next Thursday. Thanks, buddy.
That'd be good. And, hey, I just want to compliment Tom Murphy for bailing you out. You weren't talking about baseball in the press box. You was talking food, dude. So you definitely need to put a check in the mail.
Yeah, Tom's covering for him, isn't he, Richard?
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah. Tom's the best. Richard, thank you, and we'll talk to you next Thursday.
All right, guys.
Partners at BetOnline continue to be the #1 source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest sports developments, including updated odds on the NBA playoffs, fights, and even next season's futures. And don't forget that the MLB is back as well. Who are you picking to win the World Series? BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports wagering needs, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino and poker games. It's super easy to get started, so head to the website today or use your mobile device to join and use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.